Okay, great. Well, welcome everybody. So I'm Caroline. I work for a French company which name is LearnAssembly, and I'm an instructional designer. So I will talk to you today about how digital learning can help organization transform and can help individual transformation as well. So let's go. How long do I have? 30 minutes? 45? 45? Okay, good. So, chameleon, Arctic fox, mimic, octopus. What do all these animals have in common? They're disappearing to the background. Good one. Anyone else? An idea? Change color. Well, you're both right. All these animals have the ability to adapt to their environment, pretty much changing their colors, but not only. Chameleon changes its color by reacting to a change in temperature or light. The Arctic fox, his color turns from brown to white in the winter. And mimic octopus can mimic the predators of its predators by changing its body movement and its color. So it adapts the body movement and the color of the predators of its predator, which is pretty smart. The question is now, how do we, humans, adapt to the changes in our environment? By changing color. Sometimes. Hope not. Our best option is to learn. And as the world is changing more and more rapidly, we'll have to learn more and more rapidly. So this is what says Alvin Toffler, who is a futurist and a scientist. He says that it's a question of literacy at the digital age to learn, unlearn, and relearn faster. And this is a question of survival. So we use the word survival. It can seem a little bit strong. It's just because we feel a lot of distress from our clients. When they come to us, they really speak about survival. And our mission is to help them shift to survive and help individuals shift to survive as well, collaborators within this organization. And for that, we help them to learn. So that's our mission, and that's how we approach our mission. Our goal is really to help organizations shift to save jobs. And that's what our clients say. They come to us and they say, I have this really big challenge. I know that in 5 years, 5,000 of my people, I will not know what to do with them, and it's really clear. So I need to train them, either to be able to keep their job or for them to be able to find another one. So that's the challenge for most of our enterprises, in France at least. And the first one are the banks and the insurance, because they are hit very strongly by the digital transformation. So to do that, to help them survive by shifting and by learning, we use digital learning. So don't get me wrong, we don't only use digital learning, we also use traditional in-class human interaction learning, and we don't say that those trainings should die, not at all. We are more trying to blend the two modalities smartly. But we think digital learning can be a pretty good lever to help organizations shift, change, and transform. So how the best known modality of digital learning is MOOCs, Massive Open Online Course. How many of you have ever heard about this word, MOOC? Okay. Yeah. And for those ones, how many of you have already participated in a MOOC for personal or professional matters? Okay. And how many of you have participated in a MOOC or similar within their organization? Launched by the organization? Okay. So for you and for those that don't know what is a MOOC is a course open to all the people, like possibly all of the people. So if we are within an organization, they are open to all the collaborators, which can go to 100 to thousands to 100,000, etc. The first MOOC was launched by Stanford University in 2011. So it was originally an idea of big American universities. They opened their courses for free to anyone in the world. So it's a big revolution in the school and the university world as well, and it can be used in organization in the private sector. But it's not only MOOC. So MOOC is a kind of e-learning that is massive, interactive, social. It's a V2. It's the neo e-learning, if you want. And there are other things that you can use. VR, like virtual reality, augmented reality. You can use corporate social networks as well to do digital learning. You can use serious game. Here you have an example. And all of this, if it's designed smartly, can help organizations shift. And so I want to share you today how you can use these modalities to help do this transformation. So, how can digital learning help organizations change and transform themselves? The three advantages of digital learning is to help you gain speed in transformation approaches, is to help you foster agility, and by agility we mean agility, mental agility, change of mindsets, and it can help create continuity. And so we'll detail all of these points. So speed, the first characteristic. 8 months is the average duration, not duration, but the time you need to launch and complete a digital learning program, the one that we launched. So it means that in 8 months you can train all of your organization, and it includes the design phase. So you can take 3 months for the design phase and 5 months for the run period in the organization. And in 8 months, all your organization can be trained on what subject. This is something pretty powerful for an organization, especially those organizations that are used to the domino strategy when approaching transformation. The domino strategy is you do waves of training or waves of transformation. First you train the top managers, then you train the top 150, then you train the top 500, then the HR, then the collaborators, and it can take 4 years. I've worked for companies before, and I was an instructional designer for in-class training, and it took us 4 or 5 years to train all over big bank population like this. So it's a long time, especially when you know you can do it in 8 months. So when you use digital strategy, you switch from the domino strategy to the popcorn strategy. You know popcorn, you know it works. So if it's a metaphor for collaboration within an organization, you have all of your collaborators, managers, etc. trained at the same time on the same topic. And then you can see that it federates the whole organization. It creates discussion, traffic. Everybody talks about the topic in question at the same time. And you can see initiatives pop up. And that's how the organization transforms. It's more like it's a vertical and it's a bottom-up approach. This one is more top-down and linear. So that's what we did for one of our clients, which is AXA. It's one of the top insurance company in France and the world. And so their problematic was digital transformation, like all the companies today. And they are very bigly hit because their job is changing. From insuring a sinister, they have to change their job to prevention, which is totally different for all the jobs in the enterprise. They have the big data issue. Their core job is data. So with the big data and artificial intelligence, many things will have to change. And they have the collaborative economy issue. Well, if it's an issue. So they say, now that people don't buy cars anymore and use like covoiturage, BlaBlaCar, etc., what do I insure? People don't have like property anymore. They just use services. So everything is changing very fast. And they launch a transformation, a digital transformation worldwide. So they wanted to reach all of their employees in 35 countries. And that's why more or less their roadmap. So their roadmap on the learning side. So this is the digital academies offer on digital transformation topics. And you can see you have layers. So the first one is acculturation, awareness. Do you speak digital? And then it goes deeper in the hard skills and in the specific business skills. So you have marketing, management, IT, etc. So the first step for them to launch the transformation was to do an awareness program for all the collaborators in all countries. And that's what we did with them. So they called us to design this awareness program, which was called Do You Speak Digital? There. So it was, you can see a little bit here, but it was more or less a library of resources on digital, like social media, big data, etc. All you have to know, like the basic things of digital culture to understand the stakes and to be able to apply and to be an actor in the transformation. And it was very gamified, so you won badges, there was a leaderboard, etc. And all the managers were participating as well as the collaborators. And it creates a really cool dynamic where everybody participates. So imagine 100,000 participants at the same time, learning the same things, discussing and launching actions. It's really powerful. It's really powerful, and it was a success. Those are facts that are intermediary, but I don't have the last one, sorry. But the impact was really, really important, and they won 2 prizes here for best initiatives of digital transformation in France. So that's the kind of thing that you can do with digital learning, and you can see that you gain speed and you create momentum. So the other thing is agility. And I said that it was agility not in the process or the functioning of the organization, but mental agility. Why? Good question for you. Another one. Why is it so hard to change? Like maybe if you try to stop, like to quit smoking, or if you wanted to start to do sports, why is it so hard? Habits, yeah. Any idea? Another idea? Yeah, unconscious behavior, which leads to the unlearning that we were talking about. When it's really hard to unlearn unconscious behaviors, and that's part of the issue. So one of the explanation is we are all equipped at an early age to learn easily, quickly, and with joyfully. We do this kind of thing. We try. We make hypotheses. We verify them. We try, and then we learn. And when we finally learn something that we know works and is efficient, what do? We freeze. we lock the knowledge because we're sure that this knowledge works, so let's keep it, and we stay with that, and we're very happy. And that's when the automatic mode starts. Automatic mode, you don't have to think too much, you don't have to take risks. You know pretty much the consequences. But the problem is you get really neophobic. you don't like new things. You're very scared of new things. You are oriented towards the past. And when it doesn't work anymore, when you face a problem, what do? You keep applying the same strategies. You are locked in the automatic mode. And it's really hard to change and to unlock this mode. It looks like that. It's really hard. It's really painful. And sometimes we give up because it's too difficult. So we go back to our automatic mode, and we are very happy. And that's a problem for individuals when you want to quit smoking. It's a problem for you. It's a problem for organizations because it's exactly the same thing with collective learning. When an organization starts to understand and starts something that works, they freeze, they create a process, and they start the automatic mode. And until now, they were not so much challenged, so it was okay. But now they are constantly challenged, so they are constantly applying the same strategies to new problems. So the goal for us, if we want to make organizations shift, is to make them unlock this automatic mode and enter the adaptive mode. That's the only thing you can really change your habits and learn new things and explore and be fast enough in a world that is rapidly changing and that is always more challenging. Now you probably have the questions. Great. How do we do that? So that's a question we really try to answer. That's a big part of our job. We're specialized on transformative learning programs. Those are programs that are supposed to unlock the automatic mode and to be able to create new mind shifts. At the scale of an organization, a new mind shift is a new culture. So for that, you can use two things. Desirability. This one is the good one, is the fun one. And you can use the other one, reasoning. This one is much colder, not really fun. It's quite painful, but both work. So to leverage the desirability approach, you can use gamification. We talked about it a little bit with badges, like you incentivize people and you give them rewards and public rewards in front of everybody. It works really well. You can use nudge, which I think you know very well. And then you can use those two ones that we really like, sensory immersion. So you make them feel, you try to immerse them emotionally and to make them feel what it feels like to be in the adaptive mode. So you give them want to be in the adaptive mode. And inspiration, you show them that it's possible. You show them that other people did the same, and you show them the results. You project them in a new situation. So you can use those, and you can combine those without any problem. And reasoning, it's a more colder approach. It works really well with, this one is more on emotions. This one is more on facts, and it works well with top managers, especially, not to mention anyone. Castiology, you ask a question which starts to create a neural connection, and the person starts to think maybe my strategy is not very efficient. And if you continue to ask those questions, maybe they will shift slowly, but it works. For example, one question we could ask would be, what will your job look like in 5 years? What skills do you need to build to be like still competitive in 5 years in the world that is rapidly changing? So ask yourself the question. Another thing could be, okay, now that we asked that question, how many minutes or hours are you dedicating consciously each week to learning new things or trying to acquire new knowledge, new skills, or new mindset? So what about? Who is under 2 hours? 16 hours? Great. Yeah, it's a special week. Under 2 hours, yes. It's 24 minutes, the average, like an average collaborator in the US. The study is made by Deloitte, and it's in the US, can dedicate only 24 minutes. And we say that they can. We don't say that they do. It's a time that they would be ready to spend. Disorienting dilemma. This is an experience that is made to make you realize that your strategies are not efficient. So it's just like to show you you're wrong. It's very uncomfortable, and we try not to use that too much. But we think that comfort is you cannot have comfort in a process of transformation. It has to be difficult. It's part of the process. And we have all of these gamification talks that we should ancient, like everything has to be wonderful, everything should be fun, etc. We really think that change can be hard, and it's okay, and that's how it works. But we mix the two, so that it's not too hard. Yeah, it depends. We switch. Sometimes we start there and then we go there. No, it depends on the population, and that's where our method tries to apply the user experience. We try to be user-centered, but it's not perfect because we are not designers. We are instructional designer, which is not the same. We have more of the engineer profile than the designer. So, for example, a disorienting dilemma. What can it be? You try to convince people in an organization that they should improve their cyber security habits, and you can tell them so many times, like write them, you should change your password every 2 months, or I don't know what. You can say that to them, they know, but if they didn't realize that it's not efficient, it's really a threat for them, they won't change. So what we do, for example, we create an experience and we make a hacker come and hack all of their mobiles at the same time, and then they feel that it's not working. It's not only they think, it's the emotions as well and the body as well feels. And we think that it's very important for people to change. We have to take into account the individual in its integrity, like mind, body, heart, everything at the same time. And then rational discourse, there you have them discussing between them and trying to figure out what's the best way, what's the best strategy. And by confronting their ideas with other people, sometimes they get to change a little bit their views. So if you use those things and you build them in a meaningful experience, people start to change. They set in motion. And I talked a lot about experiences. This is where design has a big role to play, because it can take into account the emotions, because it masters technology, and there are lots of things that we can do, that we can imagine, to make organization shift by making a collaboration between innovators, designers, and instructional designer. I think this is really powerful, and with the technologies that we have now, augmented reality, virtual reality, IoT, we could do things very powerful. So if some people want to work with us on this, don't hesitate to contact us. And that's what we try to do with AXA another time. We try to build an experience that would make people more adaptable, capable of changing their mind shifts from automatic mode to adaptive mode. And we created a serious game, so it was inspired on a Japanese robot video game. And they had to work collaboratively in groups, and they couldn't use their automatic strategies each time they failed. So they had to try new things, to explore new things, and that would change their mindset gradually. It's an example of what you can do. So this was for agility. And now the third advantages that I wanted to share with you, the third advantage of digital learning is continuity. So when we talk about continuity, there are two things. One thing is we sometimes see training as a punctual activity. You get trained. It takes 1 day, 2 days. It takes 6 weeks. It takes 1 year, and then it's done. You're trained, so you're good to go. and your manager thinks you're good to go, and everyone thinks you're good to go. In reality, training starts when the training ends, when you're left alone with your job constraints, and then you have to figure out by yourself how to apply all that you've learned. So we try to extend the time for learning after the trainings. And digital learning can help you do that through mobile learning, for example, because it's very intimate. People have them all the time. So, and they have their smartphone when they're on the job. So you can also leverage this time, like every day when they're on their job. You can help them. And that's when they need the most your help. More and more now, learners need just-in-time training. And we have problem of administrative timing, because when there is a problem, they have to wait like 2 months to get registered into a training, and then sometimes they're not accepted, etc. Their problem is solved a lot more before that. So they go, they talk with their colleagues, they find a solution by themselves. So there is a stake for continuity, like continuous learning after trainings, even after trainings. And there is a stake as well for developing a culture for individuals and within organizations of lifelong learning and collective continuous learning. And that's what strategists and organization specialists are trying to figure out now. So it's not just a matter of operations. You have to scale your learning because it's what helps you shift and survive. So, last question for you. Do you know what is a blob? It's a fantastic organism. If you don't know it, I really encourage you to discover what this organism is. So, you have 3 options. What the blob can do. Who says C? Nobody? Okay. Who says B? Bubbles. Okay. Who says A? Okay, granted, it was pretty obvious regarding the title of this talk, but yes, it's answer A. The blob can learn and transfer knowledge, and it's a question mark for scientists and for biologists, because the blob has no brain. So it doesn't have any neurons, but it can memorize, can learn, and it can transfer knowledge. How is that possible? And it moves and it reproduces like a mushroom, and it's quite the ovni of the biology right now. So that's what it looked like. It's a like yellowish, weird organism. But you can see when you see this shape, it's totally decentralized, and it has no brain, so it's logical. And I think that's what organizations should mimic. They should mimic this kind of organization for learning, which is decentralized, continuous, transferable knowledge, collective knowledge. So the ability to be able to create new knowledge, not only to learn existing knowledge or unlearn past knowledge, but to create new knowledge and to share it rapidly within the organization without passing through the top. And this kind of decentralized, self-organized learning already exists, not in organization, but within communities. I'm sure you know Stack Overflow, which is the most famous online community for developers. I think there are 7 million developers that are in this community. And it's the platform, it's the community they use to learn, develop their practice, and develop their career. So they help themselves. They ask a question, and then somebody answers, and then the other members of the community upvote or downvote the contributions. So you have the best answers that go up automatically. And the participants, the members, get rewarded for their questions and their answers, and at what point they are upvoted or downvoted by other members. So you can see that Addison here, who is one of the members, he has badges, so it's a social reward, public social reward. This is his reputation score, so it's reliability. You can see what he did, like what are his skills. It's the tags. You can see where he comes from, how many answers did he give, how many questions, etc. You can also see, this is the profile. See there, and then you have the activity. So you know everything that he did to get those points. You know, this activity this year. You can see the questions. What did he say exactly? You can see his answers, his questions, his tags, his badges, his favorite subject of conversation, its reputations. You can see everything. So this is where learning meets big data. And then you have the history. So you have a quick description and his resume. So it's much more powerful if you take LinkedIn, for example. It's much more powerful than LinkedIn. And we can imagine that if you apply that within an organization, it's totally the blob, like the blob structure. You have self-organized, decentralized, continuous learning. And with the big data, you can map skills. You can map informal knowledge. You can map many things. And we really think that organizations that will thrive in the next year will be those that can create this decentralized structure for learning, and that will be able to map where the skills are and to match them like almost live, or give this information to the collaborators that will be able to use it to form a team and to be very agile. And when this is something that we already see, we work with Brazil, we work with Africa, and we already see this tendency, which is almost spontaneous in those countries, to share knowledge very informally, using WhatsApp. WhatsApp for Brazil and another mobile tool in Africa. And like 5 days from now, September 5, WhatsApp announced corporate, like a business offer. So maybe this is something that will take impact, that will have more impact in the organization in the coming months or years. So that's it from now. Before I go to the conclusion, do you have any questions? No? I can conclude then. So the main message I wanted to share with you today is that learning can really help organizations shift and thus survive. Organizations, but also individuals. And it has to be continuous, and it has to be collective. And to do that, you can leverage digital learning to gain speed, to gain agility, mental agility, create mind shifts, and create continuity. And I thank you very much for your attention.
As usual, we have time for one question.
So when you developed this tool, did you base it on some kind of academia research, or was it just somebody said this is a good idea to do it like this, like doing nudging, or these different categories you have for making it work?
Mm-hmm. So we are a very adaptive company, so yes, sometimes we say this is a great thing, we should try it. But we also feel the need to base our method and our approach on scientific research. So to develop our method, we based ourselves on sociologist theory of transformative learning, which is the theory of Jacques Mezirow. It's an American sociologist. And we base ourselves on neuroscience and the recent discoveries. And we also work with a laboratory in France of cognitive sciences, which is neuroscience, more or less.
Thank you.
Thank you.